Hello, everybody. Jean McDonald here with our Tuesday transition tip. This week, I wanted to talk about kind of resetting ourselves for the new year for 2023. We're getting into the last weeks of 2022, and it's a good time before we get too caught up in the holidays, or maybe even while we're relaxing during the holidays, to think about what we want 2023 to look like. This last week, Jerry and I had a 1 hour consult with a financial coach. And it's interesting because I'm really good financially, Jerry's really good financially, but we've never talked to someone outside of ourselves about our financial situation. And it was interesting during that session, and talking about finances with a stranger is always going to be uncomfortable, I think, unless you're real open about your life. But, things came out during that session that were really very helpful. And the first thing that came out of the session that was really good is it got Jerry and I to sit down later that evening and talk about our financials, talk about what documents we need to have in place for 2023 to protect our assets and to protect each other in case something comes up. And that's always important. So this consult it gave us perspective and encouraged us to communicate. And that's what coaching can do. It's that outside person that can view your situation without bias, that can be that observer of what you're doing. Because sometimes we're too close to our lives. We can't actually. We go through the motions. We try to be aware. We're learning. We're growing. But sometimes there's certain patterns that are occurring in our lives that we can't see, that are holding us back from what we really desire. When I first considered getting a coach for my life, it was right after my husband passed away. And, life, all of a sudden, my business had changed because he helped me with my business. My life certainly changed. I was kind of, not sure what to do, where to go, what I wanted. And so I started attending these Tony Robbins group meetings that were happening at the time in Seattle. And they were run by three different life coaches. One was a woman, I wish I could remember all their names, but one was a business coach. And she was wonderful and outgoing and full of love, but her specialty was helping businesses and helping individuals in that business world, high powered. Another one of the coaches that ran that class was a woman who was a mother of a child who had uh, some developmental impairment. I can't remember what, but her coaching had to do with parenting and family and she's a beautiful lady, full of love. But I thought, well, that doesn't really apply to my life. And then the third coach was a kind of what I call a general life coach. But what I really observed from her, and I observed her for probably at least, I'm thinking 4, 5, 6 months before I hired her, was I observed her life. First of all, she was also full of love. She was the organizer of these events, but she had a good relationship with her husband. You could tell there was a lot of love. It was long term. She had a balanced life. She was a business person, but she had a personal life. She was physically healthy. She enjoyed her hobbies. And I thought, okay, that's the person I'm going to hire. And I did. I worked with her, I think, on and off for maybe a year. And with coaching, I chose the topics each coaching session. I chose, um, I I was accountable to what we discussed in a session, to check in with her and show my progress. And it really helped my life. And so, as you look ahead to resetting 2023, you might consider hiring a coach because we kind of get stuck sometimes on how to move forward. It's interesting. I was just came off like 15 minutes ago, a group coaching session, and I just recently trained to be a financial coach. And one of the things that they pointed out that the most common New Year's resolutions are: one, dieting. I can relate to that one. And second has to do with money. It's resetting our financial lives. Perhaps um, we spend too much during the holidays, or we've just all our lives have managed to maintain poor financial habits. So my transition tip today is to consider coaching. And what most coaches do, and this is what I do, is you have a free consult call. They call them discovery calls, they call them consultations. And during this call, you just kind of go over where you're stuck in life and where you want to be. And then kind of get a feel for if that coach is someone who can help you. Do they have ideas for a process? They're not going to share the details, but they're going to let you know what kind of plan they suggest. And you don't have to book 10, 12 sessions with a coach. You can book maybe one or two sessions to see if you really like them. And what many coaches do is if you book one or two sessions and you want to continue, they'll give you the 10 session discount. They'll add that in and adjust for a 10 or 12 session discount. I've paid up to, looks like $270 an hour for help in my life. And totally worth it for me to discover who I am, get clarity about what I want, and to get me unstuck so that I continue to move forward. So I encourage you to look at coaching for this coming year. It doesn't have to be with me. I mean, and in fact, some clients are not good for me, and I've managed to in during a consult, it's like, okay, this person and I don't really mesh, but perhaps I can refer them to another person who would be a better fit for them. So on that note, have a great holiday week. I'll be back here next Tuesday, and I believe there's even another Tuesday before the end of the month. But I just wanted you to start to think about how you want to reset the year 2023 and make it a better year for you. So, with that, take care. You can go to janemcdonald.com for more information about me and what I do. You can also go to carewithoutdespair.com, and that way you can key into my caregiver support group, at which we do have a meeting this coming Friday from 11 to noon. It's at the Port Angeles Senior Center if you come in person, but there is also an online option for that. So, with that, take care. Have a lovely week ahead. Bye.